I am back with the Superman Warworld Saga, and the last thing we saw, Superman was able to get the power of Necropolis, aka the power of the old god Ogrun. However, when he got back, Mongol was there, and we learned that Kryuk was a stranger this entire time that was helping out Mongol. Now, before I continue, there was a side story that was going through issue 1044 all the way to 1046. And this was explaining what Lois Lane and Steel were doing with the Fragment and Thou Lao. Now, at some point, Thou Lao was having a seizure, so Lois Lane and Kara Khan managed to bring her to Steel, but then she had another seizure, so Steel and Supergirl had to power up, destroy her container, and take her out. Then Supergirl, she grabbed her, took her to a yellow sun, because that's the only way she knows how to heal Kryptonians, or at least the fastest. This is when we find out that Natasha was able to get through to Steel, or at least able to communicate with him, and say, yeah, we're going to need the Genesis Fragment to figure this out. It's the only way to help Thou Lao, but we're going to need to figure out a way to work on this together. Elsewhere, in a prison on Earth, Amanda Waller was talking to a past Superman villain called Conduct, and she's like, we need your help getting the fragment, or Genesis Fragment that almost started the war, and we know where it is. And she's the one that gave him his suit, and as you can see, next to Return to Conduct, showing that he's about to go get it. In chapter 2 of the story, this is when Natasha, Orphan, and Steel are talking about the Red Star and needing to turn to a Yellow Star to get Superman his power back and to bring them all back home. But right after they got done talking, Steel and Lois Lane were attacked by Conduct, and he managed to grab the fragment and try to run away. But they weren't about to let him leave without a fight, though. And they did try their best, but he managed to escape. But you know, Lois Lane was not about to let that slide. She called her son John Kent, Supergirl, Connor Kent, aka Superboy, and the Superman of China, Con Kennan. I might be saying that wrong. In the last chapter of the story, Conduct was telling Amanda Waller that he has it, but then he got attacked out of nowhere. When he looked up, he saw Steel, Supergirl, Connor Kent, and Con Kennan. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But Conduct ain't no opponent. He don't care if he's getting a jump. He's going to fight back. Now, Conduit, I just realized I'm saying his name wrong. But Conduit was holding his own against 4 members of the Superman family. And he was doing well for himself until John Kent got there. Now, you got to remember, without the fragment, Thou Lao would definitely be unalive in the process because she really needs it. And John was like her biggest ops when she got to Earth. So when he found out what happened to her, he really felt bad about it. And we find out that Conduit actually had something that can keep her alive. He didn't hold back by a lot, as he actually put in a good amount of force into punching him, breaking his mask in the process. Asking Amanda Waller for help, Amanda Waller's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, you're on your own. With his back against the wall, Conduit grabbed the fragment and tried to use his power, but then it just overloaded on him, just fried him in the process. John didn't destroy the fragment because it was the only way to keep the Conduit alive. And he said that it's like Superman, we'll figure out a way to save Thou Lao. We're not going to give up on her. That's all the time I got for this video. Of course, I'll continue later on 2 more videos, then we are completely done with the Warworld Saga. Thank you for watching.